Welcome to Game Set Smash, the thrilling off-court destination where blowing things up is habit and tennis tea is spilled. This week, field reporter Leah is in Chicago visiting Excess Tennis and Education Foundation run by the US Open winning coach, Kamau Murray. Let's get the show started. Welcome to Game Set Smash. I'm your host, Leah DeVito, the brains behind and the beauty of this magical show in front of you. And this week, we had an All-American final at the Austin Open, with Peyton Stearns taking home the title. On the men's side, Italy claims 2 titles this week, Darderian Santiago and Caboli in Acapulco, while Medvedev won Dubai without ever stepping on court for the championship match because Greek sport unfortunately had to withdraw. Babyface Holger Rune shares with CNN this week the positive news about his Achilles injury, saying he hopes to be back as early as the clay season this year and latest the grass season. Now, Rune has been the most successful on clay and the least successful on grass statistically in his time on tour. So if I were him and just missing out on returning for the clay season, I might skip grass season altogether and just shoe in for the hard courts. Then again, I'm not a professional tennis player here, nor have I injured my Achilles. There are rumors of Nick Kyrgios debuting on the Pro Pickleball Tour this year, as a recent video came out of him playing on court with his own signature paddle. We had similar rumors about Kyrgios joining the tour in 2025, and I was going on and on about how he would be towering over the court and holding a racket that looks way too small in his grip. So I'm a little weary in believing these rumors yet again. That being said, I am hopeful that it does happen to fruition because I think it would be really funny to see what a giant would look like on a little tiny tennis court. Rafael Nadal takes Rafa Jr. on a skiing outing. I wholeheartedly support this cross-sporting of Nadal's if it means we get another Rafa to root for in 20 years. Also, could you imagine being on the slopes that day? Tennis fans are looking forward to the Sunshine Swing, which is kicking off this week in Tennis Paradise. And field reporter Leah is on site for the action. That's right, when there's a Desert Smash, there's Game Set Smash. So set your calendars for a Game Set Smash sunshiny episode that you will not forget. And of course, make sure to subscribe so we ping you when our episode is released next Monday. Before heading to Tennis Paradise, of course, Leah did make a quick stop in Chicago to interview the US Open winning tennis coach, Kamau Murray. Let's check in with her now. Thank you, Leah. I am standing here with one of the most respected, well-admired, personable tennis coaches in the country, Kamau Murray. You may know him as a commentator with Tennis Channel, or that he won the US Open title in 2017 with Sloane Stephens. But most importantly, he is the brains behind and the beauty of Excess Tennis Village, a community-based tennis and education enrichment program for Chicago's underserved kids. Welcome, Kamau, to Game Set Smash.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to your questions and your smash.
Absolutely, that's right where we want you.
Right.
No, Chicago historically isn't well known for its tennis, especially when you were growing up. It wasn't the most popular sport on the block.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Chicago's always had like a very secret society of tennis players. So, Katrina Adams and Donald Young and Ted Townsend and, Alan Schwartz was USTA president, John Vagoza was USTA president, Katrina was USTA president. So I think there's been like a lot of powerhouses, but definitely not a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the few people were small but mighty, is what I like to say.
And how have you seen the sports culture change over the years with all these mighty, individuals coming through and Excess and everything you've built?
I think the sport has definitely grown in Chicago. I think some of the personalities and the names that have come out of Chicago have been like really true ambassadors for Chicago. Like people from Chicago love, like, I'm from Chicago, right? I'm from the south side of Chicago, right? They wear it as like this badge of honor kind of thing. So I think that's definitely helped to bring interest and resources. And then we were able to bring WTA events here, ATP events here. And then, the attention around building this center in an area where there hasn't been a lot of development, let alone tennis, right? I think that like raised a lot of sort of eyebrows. And so I think, tennis has grown And then I think in the last couple of years, racket sports in general have grown. Like pickleball has grown and padel is growing. So I think racket sports right now is booming all across the world.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely helped like just the whole racket sports conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And you started in corporate America for about a decade and coached on the side with excess a little bit on the side. What made you switch and go, aha, like I have to commit to this?
Yeah, so I worked in corporate America and was just teaching after work because I wasn't used to getting home at 5 o'clock. When you like grow up playing junior tennis, you're not home till 9, and you play college tennis and you're up at 6, training in the gym and then practicing till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. So it was like a very weird thing to be at home at 4:35. So I started coaching after school and then sort of like loved the experience. Was making a little bit of money for beer and that kind of thing. And then just the success of the kids in the program has helped it kind of grow. But never thought of myself I didn't go to school and get a master's degree thing. I'm gonna be a tennis coach.
Right.
And then just sort of I was working with some up and coming juniors, and then was able to meet Sloan, and it was kind of like well, this is like becoming too hard to like travel to all the slams and travel to the Premier Fives.
So hard.
And keep a full-time job, right? So it's hard to like, oh yeah, I'm sick, but I got to go to Australia. You know what I mean? It was like a little bit hard to balance it. So then I just decided to like, go all in and try to give this a go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How was the transition to working and coaching on the Pro Tour with Sloan? How did your coaching style adjust, and how did your experience set your team apart?
So it was relatively easy. I mean, we have a lot of things in common in terms of personality-wise, really thick skin, very honest and sort of edgy conversation. And so I think the relationship was like very natural, right? She wasn't like super sensitive. She can handle the truth. I can handle the truth and the feedback. And so it was very natural. And I think, having taught like a lot of juniors coming up, I think I am pretty good at making very complex things very simple. And so, when you're coaching in the heat of the moment, it's not about sounding smart. It's about serve the ball here, right? And then be ready for that, right? And I think that sort of, it worked and it helped. It helped us, through some really tough matches where neither of us were trying to like be right. We were just trying to win together. And I think, ABC 1, 2, 3, it just works, right? And so from teaching a lot of kids, just making it very simple and then taking that and translating that to the Pro Tour, I think that just became like a gift of mine to just take very complex sort of things, patterns of play, etc. Like, well, no, just start the point here and then play from there. You know what I mean? And I think it really helped her in the time where she was.
Right.
And to me, it still helps. Like when I get other people who come through here, Claire V and other people, I just say, okay, just do A, B, and C.
Right. I mean, that method definitely works. You ended up winning the U.S. Open together in 2017. But while you were working with Sloan, you were still working on everything here, the mission. You even brought out kids to the Open that year to, be a part of that experience.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm used to like not sleeping, right? So I need like 5 hours of sleep, and that's plenty for me. So, while I was traveling, I was still doing paperwork and emails and meetings, and Zoom had just came up, so I was able to really balance here. Great staff here in Chicago that was able to like kind of keep things going. And so, especially when you travel on tour, right? I'm not that much of a sightseer, so you're practicing 2 to 3 hours a day, and you have the rest of your day, plus your jet lag time where you're just awake anyway at 3 a.m. So it really helped, right? And then, I will say it helped being on the road. Sometimes when you're home, there's a lot of time on court, or a lot of distractions, or a lot of errands, and a lot of things you're doing that take away from sort of advancing the mission and some of the paperwork that needs to be done to kind of keep this going. And then when you're on the road, you don't have that, right? It's just like your time on the court, in the gym, and then you're back at the hotel, right? And so they're able to like really sort of focus on kind of moving things forward. So to me, it was really the perfect storm of having a lot of time to sort of advance the things from a administrative standpoint, right? And coupled with the tennis. And so it was good. But 2017, we actually, we take kids to the U.S. Open every year. So we had 50 kids from Chicago fly to the U.S. Open as we do every year. And that just happened to be the year, you know what I mean, that they were there when that happened. So it was great, you know what I mean? And we'll continue to do that, to continue to, expose the kids to pro tennis and when the pros come here. And so now, they're like, oh, yeah, Gabriel Diallo, yeah, he was just in Chicago. He made it to the forefront U.S. Open. I was just ball kidding for him. Or Ben Shelton, yeah, we gave him a wild card and blah blah blah. He was in our locker room, and you know what I mean. Andre DeBoer and Muguruza and Sloan, and you know all the people who've come here. It really has shown the kids like, okay, that's what pro tennis looks like,
Right.
and they feel like it's within reach, right? Whether it is or not is the one thing. But you know, people feel like they can make it in basketball because they go to basketball games,
Right.
right? And then having an opportunity for kids to really be right up close and personal to tennis, it makes it more believable.
Yeah.
You know, that they can, you know, make it, right? Or
Yeah.
commit to it and that kind of thing. So
Absolutely. I'm assuming that's one of the biggest reasons you became an ATP Challenger Tour site for the past few years, and it's coming back this summer.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, from corporate America, like most of the companies that I work for, were like what we consider vertically integrated, right? So you do 5-year-old tennis, and then you 7-year-old tennis, 9-year-old tennis, then you do high school, and you do the tutoring, the test prep, and you help them get into college, and then after college they want to play pro, right? You got to have a system where you can give them an on-ramp in the form of a wild card, right? So it really is just like another vertical to what we're trying to do here, where we're trying to advance kids to get wherever they want tennis to take them. You know what I mean? If they want to be in broadcasting or commentating or whatever, now we have a relationship with Tennis Channel. So it's just really like having like people stay in tennis. I mean, how many people do you know that were great college tennis players and now don't play tennis at all? Right?
Too many to count.
Don't work in the industry at all, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so I think tennis needs more people to stay in the game, right? Especially now we're losing tennis players to pickleball. So we really need tennis players to stay in tennis. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you brought up pickleball though, because you are building a few courts here.
We have like no trust. We have like totally got like bullied into building 8 pickleball courts.
8, wow.
Yes, to satisfy.
Are you putting them outside in the cold Chicago winter?
You know what? We're actually building, because the sound of the ball is a little bit nerve-wracking next to a tennis court, so we are building a separate structure.
Wow.
With the wall in between, so the tennis players won't have that pinging noise. But we are, you know what I mean? It just is, again, a lot of tennis players who now are like not as mobile as they used to be.
Right.
It's a way to keep them in the building, you know, keep some type of racket in their hand.
Yeah.
And sort of grow like our community per se of tennis players and racket, you know, that kind of thing. So, and that's the thing, is trying to keep, you know, a 13-acre facility full. You need more than just tennis courts.
This is true.
Yeah.
I think we've seen it across the country.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, your tennis knowledge, your experience, your passion for it, it exceeds this very room and the camera, that's for sure. But we want to put it to the test here on Game Set Smash in our very own segment called Wrong Answers Only, where for now until the end of the interview, you can no longer speak the truth about tennis or anything that you know. Are you up for this challenge?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. This is Wrong Answers Only with Kamau Murray. Sloane's pre-match routine included... Already challenging you.
Watching film.
Ooh. And the team celebrated her U.S. Open title in 2017 by...
Going to get drunk.
If there's one thing you want to be remembered for.
Being a super nice guy.
How do you pronounce your name?
Kamau.
Kamau. Do you get that a lot?
All the time.
Your tennis game would be incomplete without?
Great ground strokes.
Oh. If tennis had a mascot, what would it be?
Chicago Bull.
If you could be in one player's box in the world, who would you want to be sitting in?
Wrong answers only. Depends on if they're winning or not. If they're losing, I think I don't want to be in Danielle Collins' box.
Which is your favorite slam? You're about to get boycotted from one.
I know, wrong answers. Let me see. Wimbledon.
If you didn't run XS Tennis Village, what would you be doing right now?
Selling pharmaceuticals.
Whoa. Your go-to coaching tip.
There's more blue than green.
And your favorite coaching tip.
Get my bonus out the net.
And I need you to be honest with this one, with the most wrong answer you could possibly come up with. Are you at all related to Andy and Jamie Murray?
I wish.
Which racket do you use?
Whichever one my student has.
Does Chicago have the best pizza?
No.
And to close us out, what is your word of the day?
Hot. It's hot.
Oh, so hot here in Chicago in the middle of the winter.
Yes.
That was Wrong Answers Only with Kamau Murray. It seems we really stumped you with this one.
Yes, this is hard. It's, you know, I'm a truth teller, so you know, having the wrong answers is hard for me.
We'll be right back with Kamau Murray for this super secret smash presented by Unbox Sports at the end of this episode. But for now, let's tune into our musical guest of the evening.
I watched all the seasons of Vampire Diaries. Damon.
The The first combined 1000s tournament of the year is here. Indian Wells Tennis Garden kickstarts the Sunshine Swing on Wednesday, March 4th. Players to watch, according to the BNP Paribas Open's official website, are Alcaraz, Goff, Sinner, Sabalenka, Djokovic, Rybakina, Swiatek, Fritz, Draper, and Andreeva. The surprise on the list being Jack Draper, of course, as he debuts his 2026 season in Tennis Paradise. Not the worst destination to jumpstart your tennis calendar, am I right? Also out there, of course, is field reporter Leah, who will be causing chaos on our behalf. Her time in paradise headlines next week's episode, so make sure to follow us everywhere for the chaos still to come. That, of course, does not take away from the chaos we have yet to destruct on this episode with Kamau Murray, who's just about ready to unbox his very own smash. So let's check in with him at XS Tennis. Welcome back to XS Tennis Village with Kamau Murray. We are ready to unbox the super secret smash of the episode. Now, of course, Unbox Sports is the reason our tennis worlds collided, so we will be unboxing. Do you have any predictions as to what we will be smashing this episode?
I hope it's not a cake. Otherwise, I'm putting your face, not mine.
See, if it's a cake, though, your face is the one to go.
Oh, my goodness. Well, let's see.
Let's find out. Whenever you're ready, let's unbox this sport.
It's a cake.
It's a cake?
Yeah, it's a cake.
Oh, it says
Going right in your
XS.
face.
Going right in my face. How about this? As the guest of the show, I'll give you a few options, okay? It can either go in my face, which is, you shouldn't pick that one. It could go in your face, which is ideal for me. Or we could find a way to incorporate a racket or a hammer or something. Let's make this more interactive. What do you think?
A hammer's a little hard for a soft cake, so that's like overkill.
Okay.
But a racket, we probably could, figure out.
The best way to do the smashing is with a very own Kamau Murray forehand special. You've got the safety glasses on, and I've got a tiramisu to throw. Are you ready?
I am so ready.
Let's do it. Okay. Amazing.
Amazing.